Hello everyone and welcome back to Towergate. This is Towergate day number 1047, 1047, February the 18th, 2020, Tuesday. Thank you so much for tuning in. Okay, how many of you have heard the name Victoria Coates? Victoria Coates. She's currently the Deputy National Security Advisor. The Deputy National Security Advisor. Gateway Pundit ran a story yesterday suggesting that she, along with the Inspector General of the Intelligence Community, Michael Atkinson, that both of these two will likely be reassigned before the end of the week. Not only them, but possibly another dozen or so people who also serve at the NSC, the National Security Council. Clearly, they're draining the swamp over at the NSC, and it should have happened a long time ago. Now, it's also being rumored that this woman, Victoria Coates, may be that anonymous, the person behind the story at the New York Times, by Anonymous. She may be anonymous. It's not been confirmed, and it's just being rumored at this point. But and there's also a literary agent who's familiar with the author, and he says it is not Virginia Coates or Victoria Coates. But I don't believe some literary agent. They lie. And they would not out her even if they did know. So I don't put much stock in that. So I don't know if she is the anonymous author of the anonymous piece in the New York Times or not. I really don't know. But that's what's being rumored. But it does look like, regardless of whether she is or is not, it looks like there must be some problem with her, because they are talking about reassigning her along with Michael Atkinson and a dozen or so other people. So obviously they are in the process of draining the swamp over at the NSC, getting those people out of there. And that's exactly what they should do. I agree with Matt Gaetz. Get him completely out of the White House. I mean, completely. Move him to another building. I wouldn't want those people anywhere around me. And we know they've been the source of many of the leaks. And we know that the whistleblower hoax came from people within the NSC. Clearly, this is an anti-Trump wing of the White House. Why the hell would you want it around? Get rid of it. All of them. I would clean the house. And then I would bring in only the people I actually need. And I would make sure I vet them very carefully to make sure that they're not the enemy. The enemy. Mr. Atkinson, he needs to come clean. He needs to come clean. He's involved in a lot of things. And he was involved in a lot of things back in 2016. They need to turn this guy upside down and shake him a bit and see what comes out. I think they'll eventually get to him, by the way. And the sooner the better. This guy is a bad apple, you might say. He's a bad hombre. Let's move on. The next story. Well, it looks like Burisma Joe was on CNN. And this doofus actually had the audacity to say that AG Barr should resign. Should resign. AG Barr should resign. Right. And he says, quote, this has been the greatest abuse of power I've ever seen. You got to be kidding me. That's just mind-boggling that this would come out of Biden's mouth. We know Biden was in that January 3rd meeting at the White House when they were laying out the plot for how they were going to take down Trump after they all left office. We know that Biden was probably aware of a lot of the corrupt activities going on within the Obama administration, even beyond the coup. The corruption that occurred under Obama, whether it was the IRS scandal, whether it was Fast and Furious, throwing journalists in jail, spying on them, and all these other things, Biden was a part of all of that and knew what was going on. And Eric Holder was held in contempt. He was the most crooked attorney general we've ever had. Yet he has the audacity to say that AG Barr should resign. Because he decided that the charges against Roger Stone were not consistent with the sentencing guidelines. Anyone can look at the sentence. You don't have to be a lawyer or the attorney general to see that to give Roger Stone 9 years when a rapist only serves about 4.5 to 6, murderers only serve about 10. I mean, violent criminals don't serve 9 years. And this just goes to show you how corrupt and stupid Biden is. Of course, he has no chance. He's on his way out. He's going to get his ass kicked in Nevada, and then he's going to get his ass kicked in South Carolina, and I don't know that he'll even make it to Super Tuesday. On top of that, he's out there at a rally in Las Vegas, in Nevada. He's at a rally, and he's sitting there talking to this crowd, and he says, quote, he says, we need new technologies just like we have here in California. Once again proving that this guy doesn't even know what state he's in. He's in a state of confusion most of the time. I'm telling you, this guy is literally months, no more than a year or two, from being able to hide his own Easter eggs. This is the last guy that you want to put in the White House. He's nuts. He's out of his mind. And he's stupid. And he's corrupt. And he's got a lot of legal problems coming up in the future. Well. From one idiot to the next idiot, now we have Bloomberg making these statements about two things that touch me very, very personally. He basically says that anyone can be a farmer. Yeah, you just get some dirt, throw in a seed, and water it, and it all comes up. Then he goes on to talk about even machinists. But he says you need real gray matter to be an information guy, to be in the information business. This guy's a dumbass. I don't think he's so arrogant that he doesn't even know how arrogant he is. He's got a little bit of the Rotten Reverend Clinton problem. Now, as most of you know, I grew up in a farming community. As a kid, that's how I made extra money, working on the farms around where I lived. I worked at a tree nursery. I worked for the big farmer right behind us, doing everything you can think of. And as I've said before on these Towergate videos, these farmers I work for, you look at these guys, well, they walk around in overalls and they have a kind of a southern drawl or whatever, and they seem kind of slow. These are some of the smartest people you ever meet in your life. These farmers are really, really smart. And I'm not just talking that they know farming. These guys are book smart. A lot of these guys have degrees, advanced degrees. The farmer I worked for had 2 or 3 advanced degrees. Major farmer, farming hundreds of thousands of acres. One of the smartest men I ever met in my life. There was nothing this guy didn't seem to know. He seemed to know a lot about a lot of different things, not just farming. He was a mathematician, but he was a farmer. But I know he had a degree in mathematics. The farmers I worked for were really, really smart. And as far as like machinist, my brother-in-law is a journeyman machinist. He basically runs a fairly large machine shop for a packaging machinery corporation. He's been doing it since he was 17, went to vocational school. He's a smart guy. And I can tell you that I used to go I used to work close to him, and I used to stop by and have lunch with him sometimes, and I'd see the things that he was doing. I could tell you that you couldn't take the average person off the street and sit him in front of one of those machines he works on every day, one of those CAD machines or whatever, and have him design a part and then go out on the machine and make it, and then and have the right tolerances and all this kind of stuff. No, machining is a real serious skill, and you got to be pretty smart to be a very good machinist, as you do a farmer. You don't have to be very smart to go out on a stage and babble a bunch of bullshit, though, like Mr. Bloomberg. Which brings me back to another question. Why the hell did Bloomberg run that story and put that out that he was suggesting maybe that he would have Hillary as his VP? The more I think about that, the more I think there's something going on here. First of all, he says he's got polling that show that he and Hillary would be a good ticket. First of all, I can't imagine that the Rotten Reverend Clinton would serve on the low half of the ticket with Bloomberg. I would think she'd go, what do you mean? Me VP for Bloomberg? No, you mean Bloomberg my VP? I mean, I think that this would be horribly insulting to the right Reverend Clinton, that she would be his VP. And why would you, and first of all, do you actually believe that they got polling showing that he and the Rotten Reverend, who's one of the most divisive and unpopular people in the country, would be it good on the ticket? Where's that polling? Who said that? And even if it was true, if you really were serious about having Clinton as your VP, wouldn't you give him a call? Wouldn't you have somebody give Hillary a call and say, hey, we just did some polling. You know, if you and I were on the ticket together, we might win. Have a good chance of winning. What do you think about that, Hillary? I mean, there would be some conversation. You wouldn't just put the story out without checking with the Rotten Reverend Clinton and her people to see what they thought about it. At least give them a heads up and let them know that you're going to put the story out. You're going to let her be caught like a deer in the headlights? Reporters giving her a call on the phone and calling her spokespeople and saying, yeah, what do you think about this Bloomberg thing? And he's got this polling data that says that he and the Rotten Reverend would do very well in the election against Trump. They would be like, huh? What? Oh, we don't know anything about that. We don't know what to say. Does Hillary want to be his VP? I don't know. We'll check back. You know, I mean, you wouldn't do that. Even if you had this polling data, it's not something you would do publicly. You wouldn't roll it out like that. You would first talk to Hillary before you put it out to even see, because what if she responds with, hell no, I wouldn't be his VP. He's a lightweight. Bloomberg sucks. You know, or maybe she come out and say, yeah, I'd love to be his VP. Who knows? You don't know. And you wouldn't take a risk like that. You would first check with her. So why did he do it? Why did Bloomberg put that out? Now, my first initial reaction was, well, it was just Bloomberg wanting to test the waters to see, you know, throw the two names out there, Bloomberg and Hillary, and see how people generally respond to it. And but the more I think about it, he knows that the Right Reverend Clinton's people run the DNC and the DCCC and the Rules Committee and all the rest. And that's the people who he's got to get to support him. He also has probably had people whisper in his ear and say, hey, don't worry about Bernie. His ceiling is about 30%. He ain't going to get enough delegates to clinch the deal. And when he doesn't, at the convention, when the second vote happens, that's all Hillary's people. The person you better be worried about challenging at the convention is Hillary, not Bernie. So, did Bloomberg put that out because he knows how unpopular Hillary is, and he wanted to get that response from people? Oh, not Hillary. No, Mike, we'll put up with you, brother. We'll take you as an oligarch buying the nomination. But no Hillary. No Hillary. Please, God, no Hillary. He knew what kind of response they'd probably get, and it would be a, no, we don't want Hillary. To send a message to her people at the convention that even if the Right Reverend Clinton is trying to rig it in a brokered convention so that she can be written in after they don't have anyone who can get a majority of the delegates, maybe he wanted to send the message that, hey, we've already polled Hillary, we've put her name out there, she's real unpopular, to maybe try to influence all those Hillary people at the convention who might come up to him at the convention when he thinks he's going to go to the convention. So, okay, Bernie can't get enough delegates to close the deal. He's not going to win in the first round, so let's vote in the second round, and I need the superdelegates to come in and support me. He wants to be able to say to those superdelegates, I know you're all Hillary people, but, hey, we've already proven that she's unpopular. And another thing, this kind of, by putting this out, it kind of forces the Right Reverend Clinton into coming out and taking a position to say either, because she keeps straddling the fence. She's making little comments suggesting she won't run, but she makes comments suggesting she will run. She won't really come down solid on either side. She's like leaving it hanging in the air while she continues appearances, raising money, being on shows. She's got a movie coming out. She's doing everything that you would do to promote yourself for the position. I think that she's got a plot with the DNC, with the superdelegates, with all the people who run it, which are all her people, to have a brokered convention so they can write her in. And she will be the only one who will get enough of the majority of delegates to close the deal. Bernie's ceiling is about 30-35%. That's the best he's going to do. Let's say he gets 40. Let's say he gains 10 and gets 40. It's still not enough to close the deal. Bloomberg has got to get the Hillary people that run the show to back him instead of her. And he's probably been told Hillary's going to be the one you're going to be having to tangle with at the convention, not Bernie. I think there's a lot more going on to this whole deal here. And I don't think Bloomberg wants Hillary between him and power. He's not that stupid. And she would overshadow him. I mean, she's a larger political figure on the national and international stage than he is. It just doesn't work. So why did he do it? Scheming is going on here. Scheming is going on here. I'll continue to think on that. But what it looks like ain't what it is. I'll tell you that much. Something else going on. Well, what do we have here? A tweet from Barack Hussein Obama. Tweets out, quote, 11 years ago today, near the bottom of the worst recession in generations, I signed the Recovery Act, paving the way for more than a decade of economic growth and the largest streak of job creation in American history. Bullshit. Bullshit. Obama, did he ever crack 1% growth? More people signed up for food stamps and went on welfare than ever under Barack Hussein Obama. He's the one who told us that, in fact, he said, those jobs are not coming back. Those jobs, it's the new economy. 1% is the new normal. He himself said that none of this stuff could happen that Trump's doing. What's he got to do? Wave a magic wand? So everybody knows this is bullshit. And of course, the Trump campaign responded accordingly by saying, quote, Trump reversed every single failed Obama-era economic policy and with it reversed the floundering Obama-Biden economy. Yeah, he sure did. I mean, this is a no-brainer to make that case. I hope, and believe me, this is the case that the demo commies, and this is probably a message that Obama was sending. This is probably what he put out the tweet. The message that he's trying to send is, hey, you know, Trump's going to run on the economy. Now, you can't go out there and tell people that the economy isn't good. They're not stupid, which is what the Democrats have been trying to do. Well, the economy really isn't good. That's just Trump saying it's good. It sucks. People know whether or not the damn economy's good. You can't sit there and piss down their leg and tell them it's raining. They're not stupid. Obama knows this. So he's basically sending out a message to the Democrats. Hey, dummies, you can't tell people the economy sucks when it's great. What you need to tell them is, it's my economy. Trump took it over and it just happened to start kicking ass right after I left and he came in. Tell them it's my economy. Those are my jobs I'm creating. That's my economic expansion. That's all my stuff. Because I signed this Recovery Act. That was a bailout of the billionaire bankers. So, yeah, that's what Obama's sending a message. Hey, fools, you can't tell people the economy sucks when it's good. Just go out there and say, yeah, the economy's good because of Obama. And he's right. Now, whether or not you can sell that, I don't know. I mean, it's about half the people in the country, you know, who are blind, and you can still sell them sunglasses. Gateway Pundit. Another story about this lead juror, Tamika Hart. Mike Cernovich has dug in. He did a deep dive on her social media, which he's very good at, by the way. And Cernovich literally just lined up one comment after another, after another, after another. He's got her social media post commenting on Russiagate, multiple comments on Russiagate and the Russia hoax, comments on Roger Stone, multiple comments on Roger Stone, multiple comments on the Russiagate hoax, anti-Trump posts, Roger Stone posts, just all over her social media. We also know that she's a Democrat who ran for Congress. There's a photo of her posing with Donna Brazile. She's connected to the Demo-Commie establishment. She works for the Bill and Linda Gates Foundation. Now, how the hell did she get on that jury? She either lied to the judge, who's corrupt as hell, who should recuse herself, by the way, or the judge knew she was prejudiced and put her on the case anyway. One of two things. Now, if this juror, Tamika Hart, perjured herself in her Q&A with the judge, that's a felony. So one of these two, either the judge or this lead juror, Tamika Hart, one of those two are in some serious trouble. Berman Jackson, this judge, should recuse herself immediately. Now, I think that Roger Stone is going to have an excellent, excellent case here for getting a mistrial. And it appears that it wasn't just this one juror who was biased, that there may have been half a dozen. This needs to be dug into. It needs to be looked into. If it's all left up to this judge, Amy Berman Jackson, she's not going to hear any of these things, and she's just going to push forward. Somebody over at the DOJ needs to seriously look into this judge and look at all the cases she's been involved in and how she has ruled and all the motions that she has ruled on, particularly the motions in the Stone case. And it's pretty obvious she's an extremely biased judge. She should be taken off the case if she won't resign herself. And she and this lead juror need to be questioned to find out which one of them is the felon. And it's probably both. There's more. There's going to be this Stone case. It's going to blow up. And I believe that as soon as Mr. Durham comes out and starts indicting people, Trump's going to probably pardon or commute the sentences of all of these people anyway. We had Jordan Sekulow, his son, Jordan Sekulow, on Sean Hannity today. And he went into a little bit of detail about this issue with Attorney General Barr appointing this U.S. attorney from Missouri, Jeffrey Jensen. And at first, I just thought, okay, he's just kind of, the prosecutors quit, so he's just going to kind of take over and just try to finish this Flynn case off, finish his sentencing, look into a few things, whatever. But Jordan Sekulow says, no, that's not what's going on here. No. No, the appointment of this Jeffrey Jensen, this Missouri U.S. attorney, is a criminal matter, just like the Durham investigation. This is an investigation like the Durham investigation with this U.S. attorney in Missouri, Jeffrey Jensen, doing the heading it up. He's actually looking into criminal activity that happened in the Flynn situation and how he was set up. And at the heart of his investigation, where it's going to begin, at the heart of it, and this is how we know this, that it's looking into criminal activity by the FBI setting up Flynn, is that he's focused initially on the interview. And of course we know the interview was ordered by Comey and McCabe. And we know that Strzok and Pientka were the two guys who conducted the interview. And Jordan Sekulow says that this investigation is essentially running parallel with the Durham investigation. So maybe Durham stumbled onto something in the course of his investigation that bled into the Flynn situation, and that's what likely caused Barr to want to appoint this U.S. attorney, Jeffrey Jensen. So it's not just that this U.S. attorney is stepping in to take over in the Flynn sentencing part of the case. No. It's a criminal investigation. And now we understand what Andrew Weisass was talking about when he said this Sunday on, I think it was MSNBC, that this appointing of this U.S. attorney by Barr is about reinvestigating Comey, McCabe, and Strzok. That's what he's talking about. So Weissman obviously knows that this is a criminal investigation, and it's not just, this guy wasn't brought in just to continue moving along with the Flynn case, because the prosecutors quit. The 4 guys who were running it quit. So this guy wasn't just brought in to fill their shoes and finish this sentencing part of the case. No. He's brought in to do a criminal investigation of what they did to Flynn, starting with how they set him up in the interview. And it is an investigation into Comey, McCabe, Strzok, Piętka, and anyone else that may have been involved. Durham's obviously seen some documents that are telling him something. And Barr, that's probably been shared with Barr. So that's what's going on here. So this is not just trying to finish up the Flynn case. No. This is a criminal investigation into how they set up General Flynn. There you go. Draining the swamp. The wheels of justice are slowly beginning to grind. You are now starting to see people on the left go down. And there'll be many more. Alan Dershowitz said on a radio show yesterday morning that George Soros asked Obama to investigate someone. He can't disclose that now. But he said it is going to come out in a court filing. He says that then Obama asked the FBI to open an investigation on an individual. Soros made the request. And Obama followed through. He did ask the FBI to open the investigation. Dershowitz says he can prove it because he's got the 302. He said it is going to come out in a lawsuit, and we are going to find out who this person is. We're going to find out who Soros identified and asked Obama to investigate. And apparently Obama did it. On the request of George Soros. And that's what Dershowitz says. He's got the 302, and it will be proven, and we will find out who the person is. Bet it's a political person. What do you think? Do you think it's a person who was involved in some sort of crimes? No. We're going to find out it was a person who's political. That's what we're going to find out. A source close to the rotten Reverend Clinton has told Fox News that the rotten Reverend wants back in. She wants back in. And she's not likely to accept a VP position. Of course. I said the day after the 2016 election, I said, well, she'll be back in 4 years. She's going to run again in 2020. And I've never backed off from it. She's tried multiple strategies at this point, as we've been following this. She's tried multiple strategies to try to set that up. And she hasn't stopped. She's hell-bent on being the Democratic nominee in 2020. I'm convinced of it. Totally convinced of it. And I'll continue to be convinced of it until I see otherwise. Who has the national standing of the rotten Reverend Clinton in the Democratic Party to rival her or challenge her? Nobody. There's your answer. Bernie is expected to win in Nevada with somewhere around 28% of the vote. Bernie is expected to win in Nevada with 28% of the vote. If he goes in and wins Nevada, I don't know where Biden finishes there, probably outside of third. Maybe he'll finish second or third, I don't know. I wouldn't bet a penny on it. But we're hearing that he's also gaining support in South Carolina. I'm telling you, if Biden does not win South Carolina and place in the top 3 in Nevada, he's gone. He will not make it to Super Tuesday. Not only that, but Bernie is having a campaign rally out there in Nevada, and a bunch of topless Bernie protesters take his mic away from him, which apparently you can just walk up on stage and take Bernie's mic. and he'll just let you have it. Can you imagine someone walking up on Trump's stage and trying to take his mic? That wouldn't go well. He'd probably kick you off the stage, personally. You'd never take that mic away from Trump. Or any politician with a backbone. Not going to happen. Not going to happen, but there you have Topless Bernie. Protesters take Bernie's mic. And Bernie's checking out some boobs. His wife's trying to drag him off the stage. Like, oh, wait, Gene, there's boobs. And he's trying to get some titty shots. And his wife's trying to drag him off the stage. They take over the mic, and then a couple of them come up, bare-chested, and start pouring milk or something all over themselves. And they're protesting the dairy industry. And they are Bernie supporters, but they're Bernie supporters who want to get him to protest or come out against the dairy industry. The dairy industry. How many people in this country do you think care about taking down the dairy industry? That's a big issue for me. Oh yes, it's high on my list. We got to do something about the dairy industry. Those bastards creating all that milk and ice cream and cottage cheese and all the other things. We can't have that. These people are nuts. Crazy. So Bernie's got to be thinking, man, my supporters are nuttier than I am. The dairy industry? These people are clueless, man. It's now been confirmed by none other than General Counsel to Jimmy the Weasel Comey, the former director of the Federal Bureau of I'm With Her. It's now been confirmed. His own FBI lawyer, James Baker, has now confirmed that the FBI used the briefing with Trump and Michael Flynn to gather evidence for the Crossfire Hurricane investigation. Comey and McCabe ordered the plot. James Baker has conceded this fact. And it's backed up with official documents that are found where? In the official case file for Operation Crossfire Hurricane. Mr. Durham is not going to be pleased when he finds this out, and he probably already knows it. It's probably where it's coming from. Yes, using the FBI to try to run a frame-up operation or set up the incoming president and national security advisor is a little bit illegal, don't you think? I'm sure Mr. Durham's not going to be pleased when he finds that out. That's just another nail in the coffin, man, for Comey and McCabe and Baker. Baker's probably cooperating. Cher is panicking. Cher is panicking, and she should. I'd panic too if I were Cher. She says she don't think the Dems can beat Trump. No shit. They already know they can't beat Trump. They're just trying to hold on to the down ballots. They're trying to figure out who they can put in that position as a Democratic nominee that won't cost them 300 seats in the Congress. They're just trying to hold on to something in the Congress. They know they're going to lose. They're going to beat Trump, and they know it. They're worried about the down ballot. All them Democrats running for Congress, they're terrified. They're terrified of who the Democrats might nominate. And every damn one of them, when you look at them, every damn one of them is a threat to those Democrats running in 2020 in congressional races. That's why they will probably go along with the right Reverend Clinton. She's probably less damaging, as hard as that is to believe, she's probably the least damaging of all the people that you have to choose from. Papagalopoulos tweeted yesterday, John Durham is building a conspiracy case around John Brennan. Lower level grunts, as well as Alexander Down the Hatch Downer, have already been interviewed. Yep, that's what it looks like to me as well, George. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll be back tomorrow with more Towergate. You guys have a good night. See you. Bye.